DraftSociety.com presents a Premier League Draft Fantasy Podcast. Welcome to the Key Pass Collective, your exclusive source for the information, analysis, and advice you need to dominate your fantasy leagues. Come on in. We've been expecting you.
Indeed, we have. Welcome back, Draft Heads. What is going on? Hope everybody had a successful last weekend in the fantasy realm. If not, hey, this is your week to bounce back. Let's do this. Welcome in. This is the KPC. Joe Williams will be your host for this particular episode, as usual. And we'll have some other friends on with us in just a second. So for those just joining us, maybe for the first time ever, Key Pass Collective is, of course, the audio companion to the Draft Society website. I'm currently browsing the Draft Society as I'm getting some things ready for the show tonight. And aesthetically pleasing, gotta say, a lot of really good draft material on there. Let's give a quick reminder about what we do over at the Draft Society. So basically, we have every single week, we've got plenty of free offerings. We're talking top 75 consensus rankings, weekly waiver wire article where over half of them are free, Sleepers 11 article every single week, Ghost Point Hunters from Ryan, useful draft stats that are completely free, projected lineups completely free every single week. All of that, check it out, free of charge. We also have kind of a closed off section, if you want, members only, where if you're willing to support our independent fantasy football website, which we greatly appreciate, you'll get a whole lot more stuff, which we think is amazing and really good value. Check it out if you haven't yet. Go to the website, the inner circle, there's a section there. You can click on that and it'll give you a complete overview of everything you get. Rest of season player rankings. We're talking projections for every single player every week. Yeah, I mean, there's so much. I'm not going to go through it all because I do it every week, and I know it gets long-winded. But some of the highlights very quickly. Join the Discord. We've had a few emails this week about, hey, I heard you guys talking about the Discord on the pod. Can I get in the Discord? Yes, join the Discord. That is where so much information is shared, and not just from us. Savvy managers from the draft community are sharing information on the Discord. They're absolutely incredible. Team updates, news as it happens. You'll know about injuries basically before anybody else. It really is an indispensable thing to be a part of. It's really amazing. And then, of course, I got to mention the Fantasy Toolkit, which is incredible. It links up with your Fantrax ID. If you join with the season pass, you'll get the Fantasy Toolkit. And once you get into the toolkit, you will see for every single week, it's going to give you your optimal lineup. It's going to give you add and drop suggestions of players you can find on the waiver wire in your specific league. It's going to give you a trade calculator so you can figure out the quote-unquote value of your players versus your other league mates for trading. It's got Gameweek transaction data, how much different players, fluctuated in the rostership for that week. It's got fab bidding. How much fab are people bidding on certain players? It's also got, just fixture difficulty tracker. There's so much. There's so much on there. It's incredibly worth it. Check it out. Thanks to DraftLad. It's an amazing tool, and it's an app that you can just navigate to as you're planning for your week. It'll save you a lot of time. Check it out. All right. I think that's where I'll leave it for this week. But if you have any questions at all, head over to thedraftsociety.com. And we appreciate, of course, the support from the community. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. We're continually humbled by your support. Okay, let's talk about this week on the KPC. We're going to start with some midweek updates. We'll check in with the guys to see if they are privy to anything that's happened midweek that we should be aware of. Then we have the last straw. It's been a minute since we've done last straw. We'll head back to the last straw and give you some candidates for that we are close to dropping. Not quite, but close. And then, of course, some streamers for this week, get you ready for your weekend matchups. And chat, if you've got any questions as we go along, please ask them. And of course, when we get to the last draw section, please, if we don't have any players in there that you are frustrated with, that you are close to dropping, put them in chat. And we will try to kind of shout those out as well to see if those are guys that we would drop. Would we trade them? Would we just hold? I know it gets frustrating when your players are underperforming. So, yeah, check it out. Meanwhile, let's give a shout out quickly. We've got in chat, Andrew, what's going on? Draft Pie, how's it going? Draft Espresso, welcome back. Draft Hash, who gave us the answer about the hurricanes that we were wondering. How do hurricanes get named? Draft Hash gave us the answer. Just a man of many talents there. Old Scruffy is in chat. What's going on, Old Scruffy? Brandon, what's going on? Subatomic Squash, Haroon. So many familiar names in there. A couple that we haven't seen in a few weeks. So welcome in, everybody. Keep that chat going. And if you have any questions, let us know. Dave from Denmark, what's up? And Dave from somewhere else. Dave Berga, what's going on? All right, let's do this, guys. Bring in Totti. Let's bring in Sanjy. We're hoping Ryan joins us here pretty soon. Okay, guys. So we can BS a little bit if you want, but really, let's talk over midweek fixtures. Any reactions to those, or I guess more importantly, any fantasy relevant information that happened?
Saka started again.
That was weird.
Yes. I saw Ryan posted a tweet in our TDS WhatsApp group. I think it was Paddy Power or something like that. That if Arteta was moving house, he would ask Saka to help.
Yes, exactly. Man never gets a rest. Man can't buy a rest.
Nope.
Oh, it's brutal. Yeah, there were a couple of interesting pieces of information. Totti, did you make anything of the Liverpool guys that went the full 90? Like, are you thinking guys like Gakpo won't play on the weekend?
Yeah, I think the Liverpool lineup, when it came out and how all things transpired, tells me that it's going to be same old at the weekend.
Yeah.
No, Konate got the rest altogether. Yeah. Both fullbacks got rested. Essentially, the first choice front line only included either Nunez or Jota. Both Salah and Diaz got rested.
Yep.
Midfield was a bit shaken up as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be same old for Liverpool at the weekend.
As soon as I saw that back line, so normally to start the week, I'll pick up either one of Bradley or Kwanzaa, just on the off chance that they could win me a game week. This week I was like, nope, not doing it, because I saw that back line and I was like, okay, well, that's that settled for the weekend.
I was gonna say that that Arsenal players who actually got the chance and didn't go 90 would have a chance to sort of stake a claim for a starting spot with all these injuries. And the one guy I kind of like and hope goes when 90, unfortunately, Ethan. Ethan. Young Ethan. Yeah. He got 2 goals and an assist, I think. No, 2 goals. 2 goals. Sterling got 2 assists and a goal. So anyone's guess who goes, but I think again it's gonna be same old. But if they're gonna rotate, it has to be against Leicester and Southampton. So yeah, I'd keep an eye on the Arsenal leaks.
It wouldn't surprise me if Sterling got something off the bench though in one of those games.
Ooh, because
they're easy enough.
Yeah, and hopefully there will be, well, not hopefully for those who starting Arsenal assets, but I think there's going to be early subs.
What would what would your forward line have to look like for you to start Sterling off the bench?
This weekend?
Yeah. Against Leicester, right?
Yeah.
Strand Larson is playing Wolves.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, all right. That's
Like Wolves players, like basically like clubs that are playing some of the top 6, right? Is what I'm
Yeah,
getting
so
at.
if you
like
if you have,
Mavadidi, for example.
that's what I was gonna say. If you have Mavadidi, Strand Larson, and maybe your forward one is Isak,
Isak, yeah, exactly.
and those are your 3 sort of fairly trusty forward 3.
Right.
Have been serving you well the first 5 games.
okay. I don't mind that.
They're facing City, Arsenal, and Liverpool this weekend, so you can kind of make a case for starting Sterling off the bench, but yeah, I probably wouldn't. Probably wouldn't, but
You've convinced me. You've convinced me.
And you expect the early subs because they have the Champions League game at home to with PSG versus PSG or whatever, sandwich between the Leicester and Southampton games. So
Sure. I mean, and in the hope that they're just up, by a couple goals already.
yeah, you'd
Or
assume
behind.
that's safe. or behind, yeah.
Leicester has the game of their lives.
yeah, Mavadidi masterclass.
yeah. Or maybe they actually play Fatawu. Who knows?
And both
Unlikely.
of them, maybe.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlikely.
I don't know what's going on there. We can talk about that later. But
Forward and Jordan Ayew is keeping everyone out.
Jordan Ayew. Yep. Jordan Ayew, I don't know if masterclass is in his vocabulary, unfortunately.
It is.
Okay.
Let me tell you, it is. Sanjy, is there any takeaways from Chelsea's training game yesterday?
Chelsea's 5. Is it 5-0?
5-1.
5-1.
5-1.
5-0. Come on,
5-1.
man.
Okay, sorry. Okay, kept the clean sheet. Nice. Good work.
Yeah. This is Barrow?
Barrow.
I know a Barrow. He's from Barbados, but I don't think that's who Chelsea played.
Wait, is that his first name?
Surname, actually.
Oh, damn it. That would be an awesome first name.
There was a Premier League player called Barrow.
First name?
No.
Oh, God. I want it. I want it so bad.
Maybe both names. Barrow.
Barrow. Duran.
BB, right, Sanjy?
Yeah, man. Chelsea, yeah. And Nkunku, great player, eh? Hat-trick.
Against
What a
Barrow.
player.
Yeah.
You still got to score those goals. I mean, Nico did the same thing against 9-man Tottenham, and now everyone's clamoring about forward one Nico possibly, right? Yeah. I don't know, man. We're gonna talk about Nkunku as well later on, right? It's a bit of a tough one, but it's good. Like you see players like Chilwell coming out of retirement as well, getting an appearance at the second half. So yeah, it's interesting to see what Maresca's doing with the squad. But yeah, I mean, you'd expect easy job, right? Given the amount of talent we have. So yeah, no complaints. Happy with the result, man. I mean, I thought we were actually gonna talk about maybe Rodri as the big bomb of the game week news, but yeah,
but that happened on the weekend.
Yeah, old news.
Yeah, but we haven't recorded since then,
True.
So.
I mean, most people are still holding him. I think at this point,
exactly,
it's pretty clear. It's pretty.
Drop him.
It's pretty clear you need to move on.
And do not pick up Mateo Kovacic.
Don't pay 17 fab for him or whatever it was.
Any fab.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh man, that was I mean, I think that's about it. I clicked through the rest of the games and I didn't see anything that really caught my eye. No injuries, nothing like that. It'll be interesting. Sorry.
United got a hard-fought draw
Point.
at home. at home against 20.
They sure did. Yeah. But I don't think there's any takeaways there either, really. Like, they started 90% of their starters, like I said in our group chat, and couldn't manage. Couldn't manage the win. It's pretty telling. But I think it will be interesting to see what the Tottenham lineup is tomorrow. Just because It's that Thursday night match. So that'll be curious to check out. But yeah, aside from that, I don't have a whole lot. Anything else?
No.
Beautiful. Let's move on. All right. For those who are new to this is the last straw. This is a segment where we basically talk through players that have been really, really frustrating. And we are like this close. We're so close. We're almost done with them, but we can't quite quit them just yet. And so this is why we talk through, get other opinions, figure out what the hell do we do with these players. As you can see, a man's patience can only stretch so thin.
But that's the last straw.
Okay, the last straw. Let's do this. So Ryan will hopefully join us here in a few minutes, and we'll get his thoughts on the last straw. We'll come back to his slide if we can. But Totti, kick us off with your last straw candidates. Who are the guys you've been frustrated with so far?
Okay, so I have. I took a lot of these guys.
You named almost an entire 11. It was so difficult to find players. Okay,
You really did.
I wanted to cover the spread.
Ryan, hey,
Ryan.
Boys. Sorry I'm late.
Right.
Oh, you're fine. We're just jumping into Totti's last straw candidates, and Bantah, Sanjy's making fun of him for basically naming an entire 11, which is classic style.
I did see that. Yeah, he gives me shit for I think adding a few more streamers to help the viewers, but
The stricken listeners, you just want to help.
yeah, I know. I literally just want to help.
What a
And you're all about yourself.
public servant.
Yep.
You're my last straw.
So yeah, so these three guys, all new signings for West Ham: Somerville, Fulkrug, and Wan-Bissaka. All three of them went relatively high if you drafted late. All three of them went for a bunch of fab if you drafted early.
Yeah.
And aside from possibly some glimpses from Wan-Bissaka, the other two have been a wholesale disappointment. So last straw. Essentially, for me, this list of three West Ham guys is a bet or a bet against Lopetegui. I watched today's game. I cannot see Lopetegui work. No. I mean, I can see.
You gotta take a step back.
I can see Lopetegui sort of steadying the ship. I'm not saying, and I can see him getting enough chances to do that. But if that happens, I'm dropping all three of these.
Oh.
What kind of quasi dedeline are you giving yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Next international break or something?
Next international break. If he's in the job going into the international break, I think.
What's your schedule like?
It's going to be Brentford and then Spurs before the international break.
Very winnable games.
Both very winnable, but neither.
Not on this form.
Testers, I will say.
Yeah.
Especially both kind of testers for your defense. Like, you would be expected to score in both of those games with a semi-decent attack.
Oh, yeah. Thanks to Dutch Cowboy. They have Ipswich in there too, Totti.
Sorry. Yeah. So,
Ipswich and then, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad run.
It's not a bad run, but if I like I commented in our group chat, I was looking at today's games, saying or thinking to myself, there isn't a scenario which gets Lope closer to a sack today. So it's like a free hit today. If he gets anything from Liverpool game tonight, then it gets him closer to solidifying his spot. But if anything else happens, then it's just water under the bridge. But like I watched the game almost in its entirety, and they were awful
Awful.
and awful. And so my issue is like all three of these players have different issues. Obviously, Fulkrug has not made any kind of appearance yet.
No.
He is supposedly has an Achilles niggle, but he was selected for the German national team. So it's a very strange situation.
Yeah.
It's one to monitor, and we weren't that high on Fulkrug anyway. So it's not like your Ollie McBurney type aerial monster. He is more close in kind of scoring to what Antonio was in his recent streaks. So if he scores, if he gets an assist or a goal, then he will be decent. Otherwise, the floor is very low for Fulkrug. We are expecting. We haven't seen him, obviously. Somerville, I was very excited for him. He was lights out in the championship.
Yeah.
He actually showed some decent glimpses in Leeds' relegation campaign already. He has a mean free kick on him, but I mean, today he just looked like a kid against Man. Maybe it was just like he was isolated so hard, but even when you're playing against Bradley and Kwanzaa, you should kind of feel that you have a chance. And he was bullied off the ball. He needs help. He needs a system where he can have some space and run into space and do a little shimmy and just make something happen. And that's not happening with this Lopetegui system. So unless there is a sack coming, then he's definitely a drop. AWB, it's a strange signing. It was a very strange signing. Like, this guy is clearly one of the better out and out one-on-one defenders, and he comes into a system supposedly wanting to use attacking fullbacks who give you width and whip in the ball, which he is none of those things.
Yeah. Soufal is, but he's just 50 years
Soufal
old.
is. Yeah.
Soufal, yeah.
So again, if Lopetegui gets the sack in the next 2 weeks and a new manager comes in, I'm trying to hold all of these guys. But if he gets a result against Brentford, gets something against Ipswich, then he'll have built up enough capital to stay in the job for a decent amount of time. So I'm dropping all of these guys.
Yeah.
Moving on, if you don't want to discuss,
I will say I'm going to keep Wan-Bissaka. I'll start him. I'll start him at least for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, same.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a chance of a clean sheet in both Brentford and Ipswich. So.
And he's been ghosting reasonably well. You know, like, they've been conceding a shit ton of goals, which is the part of the problem. 5 points. I mean, 5 points against Chelsea when they conceded 3. It was like basically Herculean on his part. Like, that was fantastic. So yeah, I'm actually pretty encouraged by what I've seen from him. The other two, I am very concerned, especially as someone who just picked up Somerville last week because I thought it was a deal, and then I saw him play.
Yeah, I mean, why don't you tell people how much you picked up Somerville for?
Do you remember what I paid? Was it $1?
Probably $1.
I think it was $1.
There are people out there that spent 3/4 of their budget.
Yeah,
it was $1. Yeah,
fifth rounder.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm nervous. He's not looked good. It's making me like. I mean, you were excited. Draft Lad is really excited about him. Robbie's really excited about him. A lot of guys at TDS very excited about him. And when I watched him play, both today and last weekend, I was wondering how the hell he was the top scoring player in the championship last season. He looked.
The kid has potential, but I think it's just timing. Like right now, it's not his time. I mean, it might change later on in the season. You never know, right? Things might change.
Yeah.
Like we've seen the points before. There's no denying what his ceiling is, what his floor is, all that sort of stuff, or what it can be. But it's the championship. Yeah, but people come up from championship and are still sticking around, man. So some teams, are able to do it. But yeah, I think for now though, like especially if your squad can't bear it, and given you like whatever your form is in your league, sometimes you need to make a difficult decision to improve your chances game week to game week, right? And dropping Somerville or Fulkrug or both, freeing up roster spots, it makes a massive difference to your season. So, like, don't get hell bent over these players that we're talking about. Like, obviously, these are great players that we're talking about. That's the messed up thing about this, right? These are all players that can score points, but yeah, I mean, it's not worth the risk.
I wouldn't blame anyone for dropping Somerville or Fulkrug at the moment. I think, Sanjy, you hit it on the head. You hit the nail on the head. If you need roster flexibility, I would say go for it.
Yeah.
My second one is James Tarkowski. No clean sheets, no double digits, ghost points down from 10.8 last season to 8.1 this season. And there isn't an obvious siphon who is taking all those ghost points from him. So it's not
they're just not there.
It's not like there's Branthwaite who isn't there yet. It's not like there is Michael Keane ghosting all willy-nilly next to him. It's just there's just not happening. The ghosts aren't. So he's on the last straw. I don't think he's droppable. I don't think he ever will be droppable.
No.
He'll always have some trade value, but it's definitely starting to look bleak. It started similarly last season as well, and he ended up like top 3 defender.
Yeah.
So I'm not overly trigger happy to trade him out, but it's one of the last straws. That's what I'll say. Palace, Newcastle, Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton, West Ham, Brentford, United, Wolves. That brings them up to December. So it's a very, very good schedule for Everton. If there is ever one
4 defenders, I have the fixture difficulty tracker up. So 4 defenders, it is the second best in the league, just behind Brentford. Brentford.
Ooh.
You want to hear it? West Ham, Wolves, Man United, Ipswich, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton, Leicester. It's tasty as hell. You guys are all thinking about trading players right now. I can see it. Working in
I'm
your
thinking
brains.
about holding Sep.
Oh, I just picked up Sep too.
Yeah, I was going to wait until after this weekend.
Anyway, sorry, Totti. I completely agree. You can't drop him. You can't drop him. He just has too much name value. He's a fantasy MVP. I mean, he's just one of those guys that if you're gonna drop him, find a trade.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, but don't even trade him now.
That's true. You're trading
not
at rock
now.
bottom.
Yeah, you're trading at rock bottom. So he is on the last straw, but again, I would probably look to cash in after or during the international break if he doesn't improve in the next 2, because even then he will have some name value, and that again linked to the manager situation, they will probably have to move on from Dyche if they go winless in the first 7. So yeah.
So, what about the fact that Brandt is fit? Is that not going to sway your decision slightly?
I think it has to help, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, you slap those 6 points for the clean sheets on those 8.1 ghost points, then it immediately starts to look much better.
Or just take away -4 or -6 for the 3 to 6 goals that they concede.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it helps. And he produced those 10.8 ghosts last season with Branthwaite next to him. So I don't think it affects his ghosting ability.
Yeah, I mean, it's Brandt is also replacing Keane, and Keane is just really terrible. So I think it just helps their system overall, and they just perform better. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would try and I would love if somebody is on last straw in my league with James Tarkowski. So I'll take him.
Nice.
Yeah. And my last lot is the Liverpool second string forwards, Gakpo, Nunez, and Chiesa. I've seen Chiesa dropped in one of my leagues, and I think that's a smart move.
Yeah.
I doubt that he starts a game anytime soon unless there's an injury. And even if there's an injury, I think the interchangeability and Gakpo, Nunez, and Jota being able to play essentially across the front three means that there isn't a position that needs Chiesa at this point in time. I think he's one for the second half of the season. Maybe during the Christmas time with rotation. But other than that, I think Chiesa is droppable. Gakpo and Nunez, and you just have to wait it out. But yeah, I try to trade both to someone who has Liverpool forwards. We can't hear you, Joe.
There we are. Okay. These are guys. These are guys that once again you can't drop. I mean, Chiesa, sure. You can't drop Gakpo or Nunez.
You can't drop them, but you have to salvage some kind of draft value, because even if they like start one of the next two, what is your end game? What is
right?
They're definitely second choice, both of them.
Yeah,
you have to ship them to the person that owns the pair, or vice versa. Like, you can't just have one or the other.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Man, yeah, that's kind of a bummer, especially Nunez, dude. I mean, coming into the season, we were
Had
excited.
a good goal,
though. Yeah, sure. Did you see Chiesa's little fancy little scissor kick back to Jota?
I haven't seen
tonight?
the highlights yet.
That was cool. It was neat.
It was cool.
He looks good. I mean,
he hit the post against Milan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was an absolute steal for what we paid for him. So I'm excited about that. I just, fantasy-wise, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Can he play anywhere but right wing? I mean, obviously, Salah's the big boulder there.
I've heard he can play across the front, but
He can.
Yeah.
He can.
Yeah.
It's just like Diaz has not put a foot wrong.
I know.
And still he was benched.
Yeah.
Also, guys, I think we're into a weird situation where it's becoming pretty obvious that Slot has really obvious favorites. And I kind of think that we're going to see a lot less rotation than we ever thought we would from him.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't gone deep into the numbers regarding his rotation in the Eredivisie, but yeah, I think that's a fair assessment of the first 5 games. Like he's started almost the same starting lineup in all of them, and he started the second string in all the rest of the games. So yeah, I think I don't mind it, honestly.
No,
When you get to know a new system, game time is key.
Yeah.
And if they get to know each other, if they get to play together, and if he doesn't fall into the start Saka in the Mickey Mouse Cup hole, then he'll have his guys rested for the matches that count.
Yeah, I like it. Anything else on Totti's last straw candidates, gentlemen? Feeling good? Let's see. 1 second. Dutch Cowboy posting something that Draft Lad posted in Discord before we move on. Julian Lopetegui limps into press conference due to calf injury sustained on sidelines during match. All right, so there's an injury we can talk about from the... He's definitely a drop. Absolutely. Fantastic. All right, Ryan, your last straw candidates. Who you got?
Some of these are pretty straightforward. I mean, Lucas Paquetá, he was in my overvalued article in the draft kit. I wanted nothing to do with this guy, and he's only gone on to prove me pretty right on that one. I mean, he's been even worse than I expected. I think he's been dining off that like 3 assist monster haul from last season for quite a while. He's had a string of just stinkers, and obviously the Lopetegui malaise has not helped him. But Bowen and a few others are still ticking along. But I mean, getting 0 ghosts. I mean, his best performance was 10.5 with a penalty goal. Like the betting scandal suspension is coming at some point, even though it might take a little while. Like I don't even know if he's last straw. It's just like I think I would try and get rid of him. I think he still has a little bit of name value, but I just don't see him getting any better.
Yeah, and like I didn't understand this from the get-go. Like last season he did the same shit. His fantasy numbers were terrible.
Yeah. Like I said, that bet monster hat trick of assist game, I think, and the fact that he was on some penalties was inflating his value.
That was against Wolves, right? Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Mm-hmm.
Wolves in December, and he basically dined off of that for the rest of the season. Had a couple of games, Man United 12.25, and then...
Probably dined off those last-minute yellow cards.
Well,
the favela dined off those yellow card bets. Quite a celebration that night.
But yeah, I mean, aside from that, here's how he finished last season. So we're in March 30th, 15 against Newcastle, which is great. 4.75 against Tottenham, another 15.5 against Wolves. Okay. 10.5 against Fulham, then 2.5, 4.25, 6, 6.5, 1. And all those were 75 minutes or more.
What was his ADP? I know in early drafts,
64.3.
That's like fifth, sixth round.
Yeah.
But in early drafts, he went earlier than that.
I
think that's before we probably got a lot of our draft kit analysis out. But
we swayed the market.
Yeah. We're market movers.
We waited too long. Damn it.
Damn right. Yeah. I want an early draft next time.
Essentially, we shorted Paquetá.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, we did. Yep.
You could have gotten. I mean, you could have got at that point in the draft. You could have gotten Lamina.
I mean, you could have got
Lamina in the 12th. Yeah.
That's the joke, guys.
I know, but it's
I think
valid enough to be addressed.
Yeah. Joe's jokes are funnier if you have to explain them.
They are. They're always funny. But I mean, like Morgan Rogers, you maybe even could have gotten Smith Rowe there. Andres Pereira, talking like there's so many players. I would have had 8
You
days
could get
of the
Jedi
week.
there.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, yeah. The draft is gone. We gotta move on.
We gotta move on. It's been months. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys had anything else on Pakistan. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. I wouldn't do a straight drop. Maybe give him the next couple if you have any hope in him given the schedule, but it's pretty bleak. I would start trying to offer him out.
I love this comment from Draft Pie. He seems like he's a key pass merchant, Brazilian, attacking mid, good technique. He just isn't.
My Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is like my favorite movie, and one of my favorite lines is when they're talking about Tom, and they're like, he's fat and looks as though he should be, but he's not. And that reminds me of this package.
Yeah, that's
it looks like he should be, but he doesn't.
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh man. Speaking of, or in the same vein, I finally just watched Sexy Beast.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude,
Ray Winston.
It's a really good movie. I really enjoyed that. It's a fun one.
Yeah, that's a classic.
I figured you'd be into that. Like that's your style.
Yeah. Ray Winston and like Marbella, give me a break.
Yeah, he's his. I mean that's a great performance from him.
Yeah, I'll send you a couple other ones. There's some in that like very subgenre niche. Yeah, you can go really deep in the Ray Winston rabbit hole. So, but Sir Ben Kingsley is great in that too.
Yeah, totally.
All right, Evan Nilsson. Usually I try to put players in here that I own or roster rather, just because it gives you a little bit more kind of emotional attachment, and you can see the wheels turning in my head as I talked about him. But I don't own a roster Pakata or Evan Nilsson. But I thought that from afar these were good ones. Evan Nilsson has been horrific.
This is a really good one.
I mean, the PPS was lower than I even thought from afar when I got into his numbers. Like I understand why you guys have been spamming the chats with vitriol about this guy. It's pretty rough, but you gotta give him Southampton at home, and then I think is it Leicester the next?
Leicester away, yeah.
Yeah. So you got to give him these next two.
I picked him up for this too.
I did too. I didn't know that he was dropped, and then when I was going through my waiver wire in one league, I was like, oh shit, right before Southampton. So yeah, I spent I think $1 on him. So I'm willing to give him that run. But he was always going to have I think a difficult time filling Solanke's shoes. Seems to be more of like a God, I hate to say Firmino, but useless guy that runs around and creates space for others as opposed to scoring goals for himself.
He doesn't ghost like Firmino.
Yeah, so
he doesn't ghost like Firmino.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you give him
out of your mouth, man.
You give him the next couple of games, and then I think you reevaluate. You get the ideal scenario. He bags.
Yes.
A couple of the next 2 weeks, and then you trade immediately.
100%.
Yeah, and then you move on with your life.
I traded a couple of weeks back, and have never felt so free, to be honest.
What did you get?
Wan-Bissaka. Just straight up, which I mean is like.
I think I'd rather have Evan Nilsson for the next 2 games. I say that now, but like.
Now, sure, but also then I had to think about what to do with him the last couple of weeks, and not have that roster spot. No, I think Wan-Bissaka is going to be I would bet right now that Wan-Bissaka has more points on the end of the season by maybe 50.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. We'll see.
Either way, I'm happy to be rid.
Yeah,
that,
that
missed
psychological burden.
That missed penalty was a doozy.
Yeah.
That was yeah. You could pinpoint the last straw moment for folks. Rage
Especially
drop.
if I imagine Jared Bowen managers were just shitting themselves. Like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Because he would have buried that, but you got your number 9.
Would have needed to play on a different team though.
Oh right. Sorry. That's a good point.
But Justin
Kluivert.
Yeah.
I assume he takes the next one though, right? Kluivert?
I don't know if they want to psychologically stick with this guy, but yeah, you would think so.
I think if
Even Tab.
Evan Nilsson has already scored by the next pen, then he doesn't get the pen. But if he still hasn't, then he gets another shot at it. I think it was like
pity pen.
Kai pity pen. Yeah, I think that's what this was. Or was supposed to be.
Would you go grab Enes Unal just as a backup, just in case?
I think you can grab him at lineups.
Yeah.
On the Monday, yeah.
Grab.
Same with Sinistera. Like I assume he is the most picked up and dropped player in the first 5 weeks.
He's becoming a start from the bench guy. I don't know if you've looked at his numbers.
Yeah, really.
What he had, like one start, and that was his worst performance. Like, and then he was bagging 15s off the bench. Like,
I mean,
8.6.
You could start him and Duran, really.
If you have, I was gonna say, if you have the balls, start
4-4-2 with those two up top.
Sterling, Sinistera, Duran up top from the bench,
and you win.
I think if you have Palmer in your midfield, you can pull that off. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Or Saka.
Yeah.
Totti, we need to clip. We need to find that episode and clip the moment that I pronounced it Kluivert.
Yeah,
we really need to do that.
We really do.
We need to put that out as a short on YouTube.
And our faces just zoomed. It was like, what?
Do like a
Justin Kluivert.
Oh hell yeah!
I mean, for all it's worth, he could be pronounced that way.
It could.
Yeah,
it could. It just isn't.
We got the lesson in Turkish from Ryan 2 weeks ago. Kadiolu and
Gundogan.
Yeah.
So we all know that it's Bruno Fernandes.
Fernandes. No.
It could be Justin
Kluivert. Right. Totally.
Dutch father, French mom. I get it.
All right, Ryan. And now you're going to throw some shade at a goal scorer?
Whoa.
I don't understand. Why would you do that?
That mighty Bolton defense. The Wanderers. This is a tricky one because obviously he had that great second half of the season last season. Really came into his own, was taking left-sided corners, bagging assists and goals. He was in my love as a player, but couldn't draft entry. But I ended up taking him in a league to have him in one. But he's been incredibly disappointing, especially given the fact that he was like late third round. He's just not providing really any value. These numbers are dented and kind of deflated by the 2 yellow red card game against Brighton. But even when he was starting, it was really bad.
For audio listeners, Declan Rice. We haven't actually said his name.
Maybe not even said. Player to be named later.
Right.
Choose your own adventure.
Like Goosebumps.
Did you guys have those books when you were young?
Of course.
When you had to turn to a certain page based on your number, based on what?
Yeah, choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Was it
100%.
Goosebumps or Animorph or it was?
No,
one of
Goosebumps were just novels. They were like little. They weren't choose your own adventures. They were just amazing.
Yeah.
They were just amazing.
TV shows.
It was just amazing.
They're the amazing
Great sell,
genre.
by the way, Joe.
Goosebumps. That was my childhood. That was. It's part of the reason I love to read. Yeah, Goosebumps are that, man.
I thought you were more of a Poe guy, not R.L. Stein, but fair
Out of
enough.
the womb, I wasn't a Poe guy at 13.
I could see you dropping the Raven in preschool.
I draw on a little mustache.
Another disclaimer: like Last Straw is not like you're dropping them, but the trade outs as well. It's not like I wouldn't drop Declan Rice if he doesn't do well in the next couple games.
I think he's very similar to Tarkowski in a sense.
Yeah.
He still has a ton of name value. I know you don't like this, but I think it tracks in this case. He had a lights out end of season last season.
Yeah. No, it was never going to be fully sustainable, but you would I was expecting him to be like maybe a little bit
some kind of drop off, like a 3 point drop off.
Yeah, like a 9 PPS, something like that.
Yeah.
But there's still hope. We were talking about soft schedules. I mean, you got Leicester and Southampton at home the next 2 weeks. So it's similar to Evan Nilsson in that sense of like you want him to get hauls in the next 2, and then I would trade out on a high hopefully after those 2, because as I put in the deck here, Mikel Merino is going to be coming probably on the next international break once his shoulder's better, and I think he's going to be inhabiting that LCM role, and then we'll just have to kind of see what scores Rice gets in more of the holding role. But yeah, ideal scenario here, just like Evan Nilsson, get some great hauls the next 2 weeks, and then you sell on a high and move on.
I like it. All right, Sanjy, you have some shocking ones, my friend.
Why is it shocking?
I don't know, man. These are guys I just coming into the season, I never thought I would see them on this list.
They're valid though, surely.
Oh, totally, totally.
They are totally
Yeah.
valid.
Yeah, I'm not very shocked.
We start with Joelinton. 4.7 ghost points per game so far. There's around 200 plus players that are outperforming him. Yeah, it's pretty bad, man. Honestly, like Newcastle are just getting away with murder in the league right now.
Yeah,
I have
absolutely.
no idea how they have the
Absolutely.
points that they point. Like, yeah. So, and I think Howe really needs to reshuffle things, and there's a chance that Joelinton might be part of that reshuffle. Like, it's baffling to me how Tonali's not starting games now. After he's been away for so long, and you look at him play, like, he looks fantastic. He looks like a hungry player. So I don't know if, like, even if Joelinton was to play, his points are just diabolical right now. And I dropped him in my IGL waivers. Like, I had enough. Like, I'm taking punts on like players like Lindstrom, or I'm just using that spot in my roster to target good fixtures every game week if possible. Like, I'd rather do that than keep Joelinton in my team.
Yeah.
Depend on him, and then him get subbed after 45 minutes. You remember that,
totally. Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Next up, we've got Bruno Fernandes.
This is the one. That's shocking.
Was he 6th overall in terms of ADP? I think something like that.
He was 5.7. Yep.
Yeah.
So right there.
Yeah, and 7.15 ghost points per game. I mean, it's not bad, but you definitely expect more, especially the position you took him in drafts, and there are 80 plus players that are outperforming him as well. Like the thing is, like Bruno's still a valid round 1 pick, but I think you need a lot of patience with Bruno and maybe a few other supporting stars in your roster to get consistent wins in your league, I think. I don't know, man. I thank God I only own Bruno in one league this season, and it's Dynasty. So like, I can afford to be patient with him, right? Like seasons to come, etc. But like this season, if you're trying to win a league right now, like yeah, man, I don't know if Bruno's gonna be that X factor that you're gonna get. Like,
is there any chance he's a buy low?
Do you think United are going to get better?
I don't know. I mean, the 12 points in a 3-0 win against Southampton is really concerning.
Exactly, it's Southampton.
And that's with an assist, guys.
I keep seeing the XGI numbers for him. He's just like missing a lot of chances, and he's creating them, and yada yada yada.
Yeah, but he's creating them for Xerxes and not Hoyland now, but in the future, Hoyland and Rashford,
Right.
and these guys are not clinical strikers. Like,
well, he's missing them himself too. Like there was one.
First game of the season, man, against Fulham, when Casemiro put him through. Like, he should have easily gotten a brace maybe that game.
Yeah, he's suffering for form.
Outside
he's
of
suffering
foot,
for form. Yeah.
And my issue is that like his kind of sort of hero ball, does everything, dictates play, I think works better if you are actually not your attack is not just counter attack running at the defense.
Yeah.
Because most of United's goals this season have been just a ball lumped up and Rashford or Xerxes or Garnacho or Diallo running onto the ball and then either passing it in and everyone else putting it in, or themselves putting it. So it's not like he's kind of in no man's land. He's too far up for him to have the sort of deep pass like we saw Konate do last weekend. Like he's too far forward to be the guy who releases the runners, but he's also not forward enough to and not capable enough to be the sort of runner himself. So I have an issue with his role in this. If this is, I don't even know if this is intentional from Ten Hag, to be honest, but I think he's been quoted to say that he wants to be the best transition team, but transition can happen like in a controlled way too.
Right.
They
Like
Well, and
Liverpool.
this is
yeah.
well, Totti. I kind of think back to Klopp because a lot of times when you utilize the wings so much and or you kind of in your transition play you bypass the midfield, that ends up making those midfield players less relevant fantasy wise because they're, like you're saying, they're not asked
the
to
Liverpool
be as creative.
midfield black hole.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he's not doing the super aggressive pressing to get the ball in the opposition box or whatever. So yeah, I think he deserves his place on the last row, and I definitely try to trade him out to get some value from him. I think he'll always have name value.
Yeah, and I mean, the sooner you do it, the closer you have to draft day name value, which I think is what you want.
Yeah, I think I'd rather wait for a haul, which will eventually happen. But I'd rather not try to trade him now. I'd rather wait for a haul. But just like with Rice, like there are some players that you like with Tarkowski. I think Tarkowski is a different example. So if Tarkowski gets rolling, you don't want to trade him because you know he's a top 3 defender. Whereas if Bruno gets a hole in the next 2, you will want to trade him because everyone will think that okay, he's back.
Yeah.
Whereas you will know that he's still playing in this system that doesn't suit him.
You might have to wait until like November 9th, though.
What is on November
Like-
9th?
I mean, they play Leicester at home, and then they've got Ipswich away. Like,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna get your mega monster hole that you're talking about by then, right?
Well,
so if
and
you can
then-
wait till then yeah.
Flat track bully.
Sanjy, the game after that is Everton.
Yeah.
So you might want to wait until week 14. I know that's a long way away, but there's hope at least. There's hope on the horizon.
It's a long last straw.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like one of those joke straws that's like really, really long.
Nkunku.
Hold on.
man. Nkunku.
Juventus
Talk about
316. Juventus 316. The biblical verse. Who would you take for Bruno? Are there
Probably McNeil
midfielders?
plus somebody else?
Yeah, I'd probably do a 2-for-1.
McNeil plus? That's interesting. Okay. If you're thinking about midfielders specifically, I mean, would you...
Odegaard right now? He's out.
Ooh.
Yeah, I wouldn't
You
trade.
can get better
Odegaard.
than that.
Yeah, you can get much better than that.
We get package. Yeah, like
Would you
McNeil,
do
McTominay.
Eze?
I'd probably do Eze.
Straight
I
up.
like
for one.
but the thing is, for me as well, part
Eze
of this
hasn't been that
is
great either.
yeah, but Eze is better to watch on the telly than Bruno is. Like Bruno is like complaining
Everybody
half the
is.
time, man. Like yeah, exactly, and that's my point. Like that's why he's also here.
Yeah,
Like,
but
I'm
you
just
knew
fed up
that
of watching him. Like,
Yeah, but you knew that when you drafted him.
I know, Totti, but I don't make good decisions in my life. Clearly, neither does Totti because Totti left.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a
It's
reason
how
why I have a policy.
Yeah. That's amazing how mad Totti got when you said that he just
Yeah, I
stormed
know.
out of the live stream.
To be honest, I thought he was gonna do that when Bobby was getting slandered, but
It's probably built up.
yeah.
All right, let's talk Nkunku.
Yeah, man. Nkunku, like I've got people DMing me about Nkunku. I feel your pain because I drafted Nkunku in one league as well. And yeah, I don't know what to say, man. It's getting to a point where I think there are managers out there that might actually have to drop him. And what is he? He's like what 95, 96% rostered, I think.
90
90
as of
still
today.
too high.
Yeah.
Still too high. Like, has there been like have people been dropping him? Like, what's the change there?
It claims it's plus 0.4, but Fantrax.
That's probably off the back of the hat trick, right? People probably saw that and was like, oh,
Yeah.
he scored goals. Like, let me go grab a Chelsea player. But don't. Like, it's gotten to a point where honestly, if you have to win your game week, you drop him. Like, I don't think anyone would be against that. Like, I don't think you're seeing a start anytime soon. Sure, he started the first game of the season, but like half our team wasn't even back with the squad. Like, and that was the situation with a lot of clubs, right? So after that one start, Jackson comes in the team, and Jackson is just, doing, what he did end of last season as well, right? Getting goals, getting assists, 6 attacking returns for the season so far. Like, if you really want to keep Nkunku, you've either got a deep squad or you're a Chelsea fan. I don't see any other reason for you to be holding this guy game week to game week.
Ouch. Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Oh man, brutal. I just preseason I just did not see this coming. I thought for sure it was finally his time, and Maresca's a tough cookie. I can't figure him out.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. Like he's gonna get minutes off the bench. Like you can see his quality to get the winning goal against Bournemouth as well. Like he will get that throughout the season. Like he'll get appearances here and there. Maybe he gets one start in the next 3 or 4 games, let's say. But I don't know, man. I think there are better things to do with that roster spot.
Yeah, I like it. All right, here are mine, guys. First one. Kieran Trippier.
I like that.
Great pick.
I mean, I thought his time was coming. I thought, like you guys have said, Newcastle have been complete shit. They've been shipping goals for fun. And so I thought, okay, it's time to bring in Trippier. Let's put to bed our issues that we have, how get over it. But then he starts against Fulham. They ship 3 goals and he scores 4.25. Yeah, it's just brutal. It's absolutely brutal. My question for you guys is, is this the start of a string of him starting matches now? And potentially, they've got Everton coming up. But really, aside from that, Manchester City, Brighton, Chelsea, Arsenal, before it finally gets easy again. I think trade or drop, as sad as that sounds.
One of my guys in my home league traded him out for 25 fab.
Oh,
and that was
highway robbery.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
You could probably get more than that as well, I'm sure.
I mean, he is the first guy who I've seen who got most of his points post-match. Like I went.
He got more stat corrections than he got.
I went to bed and he was in on half a point, and I woke up and he was in 4.5.
That's
like,
incredible.
Fuck.
That's incredible.
Opta felt really sorry for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's like I definitely wait until Everton lineups are announced, but if he's not in there, then I drop him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
there's no visible upsides happening. Like,
well, the problem is Everton's still a week away. They have City.
Did he take sets that game?
Oh, I'm not sure.
There's a site that does set piece tracking.
This isn't my last straw candidate, Totti. I didn't have to do the legwork on this one.
That's fair.
Why don't you?
I'm telling it to Joe, whose last straw pick it is.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I wouldn't know where to find that if I could. Something called set piece
if he was
takers,
on a half point.
DraftSociety.com, set piece takers. I'm not. Hold on, I'm getting there.
Link in bio.
Link in bio. Exactly. All right. Apparently, what we have on the site. Let's see. 45% set piece percentage. 38% reliant on set pieces for his fantasy points. Total set pieces 9. In his one start. So yeah, that would sound like he took most of them.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
But like, okay, the thing is, outside of
Newcastle were shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Outside of trips being trips, like you're not getting a clean sheet out of that Newcastle defense right now, I don't think.
They're so bad.
They're still getting the results.
I know, but people are dropping players you never expect. People are dropping Burn in every league I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like you didn't see this last season or the season before.
It was brutal to have Shar start in the game week 1. He gets the red. You wait 3 game weeks, and then he drops a goose egg on his return.
Exactly.
It's like 5 games of hell.
Right.
From Fabian.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, so if you can keep him for Everton, keep him for Everton. But otherwise,
I guess
I don't have any qualms about dropping him.
All right, I like it. Next one up, JP Mateta. This one's an interesting one. So 6.1 fantasy points per game if you look under Fantrax, and you're like, oh, really cool. That's neat. So he had.
Who says neat?
Well,
yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like,
Very neat.
The founders of this game in the 1950s said that.
See?
Look here.
JP Madera, see?
Hot off the press. Read all about it. So anyway, he had 2 goals and 22 points versus Manchester United.
Versus Leicester, but yeah.
Well, versus Leicester.
Yes.
Oh, was it Leicester?
yeah, it was Leicester.
Euros.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, even better because they're a shit team. So great.
Sorry,
Sorry,
United.
Fantrax Fox. Sorry,
Shoes still
Fantrax
fits.
Fox. Sorry, I know Fantrax Fox is in chat. I want to apologize for that. I
Why?
wish they were better, but they're just not. Anyway, okay, fine. So 22.5 against a bad team. United or Leicester would have fit in there. And then 8.25 total in the other 3 matches that he started. And it's he's been yanked at 45 minutes in 2 of his 5 starts. So what are we doing here?
Waiting for a hat-trick against Everton and then trading him out.
Okay, when does he play Everton? This weekend. Perfect.
This weekend.
Beautiful. Done. Because then it's Liverpool, Forest, Tottenham.
I mean, he can hold against Forest and Spurs.
No, I think Forest defense is much better this season. But I think Glasner doesn't know his best attack though.
Yeah.
Like
I think-
system-wise.
Oh, no, 100%. I think he's shell-shocked. Glasner has no idea what to do after losing Olise. This is a team kind of in tailspin at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, regardless, Mateta, he's not.
You got to hope
He's
that
not the player he was.
Eddie link up is good.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of us were kind of warning against this last season too, right? I mean, think back when we talked about his goal dependence. We talked about how it was unsustainable, the goals that he was putting. I mean, I think it all adds up.
Yes.
Perfect. Good. Feel good about that? Okay, sweet. All right. This one I want your thoughts on, guys, because Garnacho is a tough one because you drafted him, you know his potential, you know kind of how he ended last season. Of course, then Diallo steps up, sort of announces his presence, and he has been the preferred option to kind of start this season. Garnacho has had 2 starts, and in those 2 starts, he scored 3.6 points per start. In his sub appearances, which I hope you're not starting him in, he's actually doing better. But that doesn't really matter because when he starts the game, apparently he's shitting the bed. So, Sanjy, am I wrong or right in saying that I think you roster Garnacho, don't you, in at least one league?
In the league that you are top of.
Okay. Thank you for that.
I mean,
but
listen, your boy is 5-0. You gotta respect that.
He
man.
is.
Ooh.
But what are you doing with him?
Crying. As if it's not bad enough, I gotta look at his stupid face every time I watch United games and hope for points. Like it's the same thing with Bruno. Like it's just United assets. I think screw it. I just want to get rid of my United assets. They'll probably do well at some point, but
Ryan's so proud.
Like
I paved the way years ago, my friend. This doesn't have to be the way.
Yeah.
This is
Honestly.
the way.
So,
There's a better
Purge
lifestyle.
yourself of United, and you will find
I'm
a
sure
way.
there are managers that have noticed how well he can do or whatever, and
Sure.
that potential's there. Again, the ceiling, the floors. We can talk about all of that shit, but yeah, I don't know, man. Right now, I think United are just a hot mess right now, and I don't want to be part of that hot mess. I think you can still get value out of him, like they're still going to be a top 8 club. I don't want to go higher than that, but like the fact is they're gonna win. They're gonna win more games than they lose. You want to think, they're gonna score some goals, so he's gonna be part of some of that, right? But yeah, I don't want the pain that comes with it. The pain is too much.
Man, yeah, Garnacho just not starting matches, not doing well the ones that he does start. Somehow that 7 points per game. Now is the time. Who would you take? Would you take Dibbling for him?
I would consider it, but that would be audacious, I think.
You think? Wait, you think it would be audacious to go for Dibbling?
Like to the fact that you're banking on this kid as a asset, and I would love if he started every single game of the rest of the season, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Like I think eventually, the league will catch up with kids like that, right? And like teams like Southampton, I think Garnacho has more minutes, more starts, that sort of stuff. So I'm looking for that similar sort of range, right? Because you'd say like Garnacho is still somewhat of a dependable asset. I mean, mind you, he only got his first start this game week or last game week or something like that.
Yeah, well, he has two. He started against Liverpool, and then and then he had the other start against, I can't remember, was it Palace?
Palace, yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're probably going to want a midfielder for him, right? Just because, again, we talk about how barren it is, right?
So yeah, that's the question.
Tielemans?
Would the Tielemans manager do that?
He needs to have a start and a decent one soon for you to be able to get any of these decent one-for-one trades off, I would imagine, unless they're a United fan.
I'd still
Midweek?
I'd still rather Garnacho than Tielemans.
It's close.
Actually, Madueke has been pretty mid since his hat trick. That you might be able to get that over.
You could get it over, but
Tavernier? No. Yeah, have you looked at Tavernier's numbers? He is the 5th overall midfielder right now. He's number 5.
Yeah, but that's not good. He's not going to be there by the end of the season, though.
No, but
if he stays fit, he will be.
Yeah, well,
dude,
that's the other thing, right?
Guess Totti, guess who's number 6?
Number 6 midfielder?
Yeah. 62.75 points. Just above Eberici Eze.
I have no idea.
Harvey Barnes.
Actually, are you believing in the Harvey Barnes? Like, can you get Harvey Barnes for Garnacho? Can you do that? No.
I think you can get Harvey Barnes for Garnacho.
You could.
I mean, I would rather stare at Harvey Barnes' face than Garnacho's face.
That's true. He's at least a handsome fella.
One's 12 and the other one's a closet. Never mind.
Wow.
Could you get Iwobi for Garnacho?
Nah, no way am I letting go of Iwobi. Are you mad?
number 13 overall midfielder. You guys,
let's move on to streamers.
I don't think you guys. We need to do an episode on this. I don't think you understand. No.
On midfielders.
On midfielders, it is dire.
I think we understand, Joe.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Well, just take my word for it.
Articles like 7 times every week, where I'm just like, oh god, I have to fucking reiterate this.
All right, well, take my word that it's bad. So. All right, streamers, let's do this. Game week 6 streamers, and we'll wrap it up. All right, I can't remember who I put first this week. I always try to mix it up so that no one gets on a high horse. Totti, it's you.
Yes.
Always on his high horse.
Finally. So I've gone with some proper streamers, so not
last to the deck.
Last to the deck.
Were you the last one in here? Yeah.
It smells of last to the deck. So I think Evan Ferguson is knocking on the thing that you knock on to get a start.
Proverbial door.
Proverbial door. That's the one.
It might be a window the way he's gonna have to climb in, but we'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
Gate.
Chimney.
Yeah. So they're facing Chelsea, who have been surprisingly decent. But yeah, if he gets a start, I'd start him against Chelsea. João Silva from Nottingham Forest.
Portugal Grealish?
Is this Jota Silva? as they call him
Jota
on
Silva.
TV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jota Silva.
He's got an epic name, man.
I think
Like,
it's
his
João
actual-
Silva in Fantrax, though.
Yeah.
It's actually it's actually João Pedro Ferreira da Silva in
There
Fantrax
you
because
go.
that's Fantrax.
There
Yes.
you go.
Yes, the one.
We can call him Portugal Grealish.
Forest look good, man. They look good. They look really
Forest
good
is
against
solid.
Liverpool.
Yeah, man.
They're
Forest is solid, bro.
finally churning 100 players in 3 years. Finally did the trick. My next one is a player who I've mentioned at the top of the hour. Ethan, and how do you pronounce it, Ryan?
Nwaneri.
Nwaneri. A reward, so to say, for his 2 goals in the Mickey Mouse Cup. A start against Leicester, and his ability to haul and do good. And my last one is, surprisingly, no one put him in there before I did, is Ty Dib.
It's old news, bro.
Dribbling.
Tyler dribbling. Okay.
I
All
love
right.
that
All right.
So good.
I mean, we overlook it because he's rostered in all of our leagues now because we're in very
It's
competitive
difficult.
leagues.
I'm trying to sort of reach.
Trying to be lazy.
No. I'm writing the. So this is an issue that we haven't talked about.
What's your threshold in sleepers?
Sleepers is 60,
Mm.
Jeez.
but 60 in normal leagues is 100 in all of our leagues.
Yeah.
But so I could be tempted to say 60 in
Community leagues.
16 community leagues, but I've seen issues with that, and the issues are that we get sidetracked, and mostly on Discord, into these conversations and loops into these pretty niche players who
Yeah.
who
That's a good
us
point.
in 12-team hyper competitive leagues need to think about when we are streaming or when we are looking at waivers. But I think 90+% of our listeners and our readers shouldn't pick up Tyler dribbling.
Should not.
Maybe he's not a good example, but Jota Silva is definitely a good example. Like most of the streamers or most of the sleepers 11 that I would put together if I had the 60% for community leagues set as my hard ceiling,
Yeah.
would not be relevant players to pick up for most of our readers who are in 8 or 10 team home leagues.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We and this is you guys know, but our listeners might not know, because most of the people who are here live in the chat and most of the people who listen to the pod are diehards. But I personally get a ton of DMs asking questions based on sleepers or based on waiver articles, asking should I pick up Tyler dribbling for Bernardo Silva and stuff like that, because we are overhyping these niche players because we need to in our leagues and we need to in hyper competitive leagues.
Misleading.
It's
a good point.
very misleading. So
Yeah.
With sleepers, I try to have a middle ground. I had Adama and Flecken in my first 3 week iterations just to
I think that's
like
good. Yeah.
Drive home the point.
essentially,
Yeah.
spread the word, just like saying pick these guys up because even in like 8-team leagues you need to have these guys rostered. So it's like it's push and pull. It's like it's an interesting conundrum that we find ourselves in, even with these streamers. Like, look at these two midfielders and two forwards. Most of our 8-team league listeners wouldn't need to pick these up because they would start a forward line of Pedro Neto, Ollie Watkins, and Kai Havertz.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not going to start Evan Ferguson ahead of either of them.
Those people need the fantasy toolkit. I mean, because it's going to tell them, hey, you should go out and pick up Mavadidi, or you should go out, like all the guys that have been rostered forever in our leagues.
Yeah.
Like Diallo or something, like these players are going to be out there just for the taking.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like it. Dibbling is actually a good one because, I mean, he could remain decent, and if he is, he's like 26% rostered or something right now.
Yeah, it's still super low.
Even though in every single community league he's rostered, which is it's crazy. I like it. Nice work. All right, Sanjy, all you.
So, the first 3 picks, I have Damsgaard versus West Ham, Lindstrom versus Crystal Palace, Barney versus Southampton. You can find the details in my article on a wonderful website called thedraftsociety.com.
That's the one.
Go check it out. But yeah, and Damsgaard is, I think I'm ready for the redemption arc, but I'm also ready for the pain. That Office gif of Michael Scott.
Right.
I'm here for it. They've got a few touch and go injured midfielders. I think some of their flags turned from broken to solid red flags, like the likes of Jensen, likes of Norgard. But if they're not ready, I think Damsgaard is going to be part of that setup. And he's doing quite well since he got his first start in Gameweek 3. He scored the second most ghost points of all B's outfielders. And I think he probably boasts the highest ghost points per start, 10.1. Honestly, I'm kind of gutted I didn't get him on waivers for International Genie League. It's also because I'm broke there. But if you have a few dollars to spend, I think you should definitely consider him, especially since West Ham are diabolical. We touched on that, right? Lindstrom versus Crystal Palace. So I think this was his first start for Everton in the league. I think he was playing the cup games for them. He only played 60 minutes, but I think he got around 9 ghost points. He attempted 4 shots. Half of those ghost points were tackles won. So it's kind of promising that he has a defensive side to his game, especially for being such an attacking player.
He got 10 even, double digits.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then there you go. So
10 and
I
60.
think so his competition is going to be Harrison, and Harrison is either going to be amazing, but you'll never have him in your roster.
Nope.
He's going to be available in the waiver pool. The minute you grab him, he's going to drop like a 1 to 2 to 3 point game. It's like it's frustrating as hell, right? So right now,
exactly correct.
I think Lindstrom is just a better player than him and probably can, oust him for that position on the right-hand side. So I like him as an option. Zabarni is purely a fixture play. It's Southampton. They're terrible. They've scored maybe the fewest goals in the league so far. It wouldn't surprise me. So yeah, I think pure clean sheet, especially it's on a Monday as well, so you can wait. But I think he's probably the safer option out of, let's say, Huijsen or Senesi, because there was some weird lineup crap that they did versus Liverpool. I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
So
it's the last game. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why for my
go with Ilya.
Ilias, yeah, exactly. So, and I think that's the reason why my fourth option is another asset from that fixture, Charlie Taylor. He racked up, what was it? 8.75 ghosts. I think he got the yellow card, so that's why it's looking like 6.75. 11 clearances. I know it's a ridiculous number, but back in the day, Charlie Taylor used to, do his thing as a defender 3,
Yeah.
defender 4, and it's Bournemouth. Like, they're open as hell. Like, I think Southampton can get chances, so it could be an end-to-end game, that one, right? And it's the South Coast derby. Anything can happen. So those are my picks.
That's fair. I like it. All right, Ryan.
Alluded to one Sepp Vandenberg earlier on the pod as more of a longer term play, but this weekend, given how West Ham are going, and the fact that he can ghost a fair amount, I like their odds of at least keeping it close, if not getting a clean sheet this weekend. So he's probably the only starting defender probably that's available on the waiver wire for this one. So I like him. Joe, since you didn't have a streamers, I put the Craw in for you.
Yes.
Sure, the thinking is that Everton pumping nonsensical crosses and somebody needs to clean them up. So who better than, I assume, the Frenchman. I assume he's French. Maybe he's Quebecois. Who knows? He'll clean them up. So the aerials should be on offer there.
Dwight McNeil crosses coming in to just, head out of the way, rack up those points. Yep, I like it.
Carvalho, I thought passed the eye test last week. He was pretty unlucky not to get an assist. And Mbumo should have slotted that one home. But I thought he looked pretty good. There's a possibility that Shada comes in for him. I think that what will end up happening is that Frank will probably decide on one of Carvalho or Shada for each game, just based on a tactical plan. So I think he's probably going to be frustrating to roster, but one of those two should be a good option for any decent matchup. So I know Totti doesn't like me putting in backslashes, so I didn't put Carvalho / Shada here. So I'm just going with the hot hand with Carvalho. So, but be wary of that. So we'll see.
But Shade is also a good play.
Yeah.
Is it because Totti used up the allowed slashes for the slides? That's
exactly.
Yeah, in his own slide.
I took all of Ryan's slashes.
Do as I say, not as I do. And then going with the anti-Southampton theme. I've had Cook and dropped him like probably 9 times this season. This is the time to pick him back up. Should be dropping in some good set pieces versus Saints. So there's your lot.
I like it. I have far too many of these guys on my roster right now, especially in our IGL league. Sanjy, my team is decimated, but it's fine.
Is that the one you are leading 5-0?
No, that's community league.
I mean, funny enough, we've got opposite lucks in those leagues, right?
Yeah.
So,
no, it's good fun. I'm trying to rebuild that team from the ground up, and Cook is definitely involved. So is Vandenberg. We'll see how it goes. Couple of questions, guys, from the chat. So Old Scruffy is saying that he has love it. Saying that he has Tavernier. Feels like a sell high. He was offered Darwin. What do you guys think about that?
No.
It's roster dependent though, right? If you've got a lot of mids and you're lacking forwards,
I don't know anybody that has a lot of mids.
Just Genie in the one league where he took 7 of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's always a
Genie making this offer.
It's Genie.
It probably
wants another mid.
Genie, otherwise known as Old Scruffy.
I don't think I would.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, it's weird to say that, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I would.
I'll keep Tav.
Yeah, no way.
Especially
one
right
more.
for Saints.
Yeah, totally. One more. Dutch Cowboy. First question, what are we doing with Muniz?
Drop.
Ooh,
What?
disagree.
I'd hold.
Disagree. I'm holding.
Yeah, but what if you can't afford to? Like,
Well, okay, sure.
That's on you.
Yes.
I
Make a
appreciate that.
roster that can hold at least one player.
Yeah, what kind of
It's-
roster are you assembling?
Who
It's
are
a-
you? Who are the other 4 guys you have to keep on your bench?
In Kunku,
See,
to
she
name
did.
No,
first.
you'd might much rather drop in
Nkunku's a
than
drop.
Muniz.
So you'd rather drop in Kunku than Muniz.
Yes.
That's close. I don't know.
They're in. Yeah. The problem is, Nkunku is impossible to roster unless you have a Chelsea stack. Whereas, so like he's not going to change, and he's never going to be a consistent starter.
Right.
The thing is that Muniz has the possibility of being a consistent starter. He's just not right now. So it's swings and roundabouts.
And coming into the season, we thought he was set and forget, and he ghosts pretty well. So it's like been a pretty frustrating one, I feel like, for people who roster Muniz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you guys doing with Jai after last week? Week, so we slated him on the pod.
Trade high.
We slated him on the pod. We said he was in which box was he in? Drop ASAP.
I think so.
If not close to it, yeah.
Yep. So we put him in the drop now box last week in What's in the Box, and then he turned around and scored a goal and ghosted out of his mind for like 22 points.
Yeah, he passes the eye test, I think. Still, I don't know.
He's still at Everton. He's still forward.
Yeah, but the fixture run we talked about.
I still don't see it.
I think he's
I
turned.
would trade high.
Exactly. At the very least, he's turned into a trade rather than a drop.
Yeah.
Even just from that one performance.
Yeah.
So we can agree on that for sure. If you liked what you saw, I mean, feel free. Don't forget, that was Leicester. Again, Fantrax Fox, I'm sorry. But yeah, that was Leicester. They're going to come up against harder teams. We'll just say that. So, all right, nice. Okay, that'll do it, guys. We'll wrap it up. Thanks to the chat.
We got a Bailey question.
What? Say it. Go ahead.
Thoughts on keeping, selling, dropping, caressing Bailey?
Oh, the latter, obviously.
I added that one in
Definitely.
myself.
Oh. He's a keep.
Yeah, you got to keep him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Keep him.
I'm against him
Maybe
this
so.
weekend if it
Maybe
helps.
sell. Maybe sell
Yeah,
if you
I think
can.
I'd sell.
Ugh.
I don't trust the injury history. I
I didn't realize his numbers were this bad. I just looked. That's,
He's back. He played the midweek cup game. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not a drop. You can get something for him.
is he? He's
Yeah.
one of those. He's one of those. Wait for a haul, and then sell. Hopefully.
Yeah, he's got decent name value and draft value. I mean, he was like
Yeah.
round 5-6 guy.
Yep. I like it. One more is Omari a rest of season hold or a streamer?
Streamer. That was a
Even
aberration.
If
I
that.
just-
Yeah.
If
Streamer.
that is
That
not
was
even
a Southampton effect.
I mean, we talked about it last pod, right? If you were going to hold on to these guys, like even Smodish, but Smodish was the one that ruined everyone's game week. He was the only one that didn't ghost. I think a bunch of them ghosted well, right? Like even if you were like scraping the
told you.
barrel, their frigging captain scores a screamer from outside the box. Like literally everyone does well against Southampton. So yeah, pure fixture.
Smottage. That's so awesome. I'm telling you, he is the most goal dependent player in FPL draft history. I love it. I love it so much. All right, last one, and then we gotta call it. Would you do Barnes for Bailey?
I'd keep
Which-
Barnes.
Which one do you prefer? Because I don't know which one he would be receiving.
Barnes. I think.
Barnes, yeah.
Bailey.
How do you
Ugh.
pronounce that username? Siege.
Siege. I think it's like CJ. You know, like
Okay.
somebody named CJ. Carl's Jr.
That makes sense.
So I think I'm going Barnes as
Yeah.
much as I hate to say that. Ugh. Yeah. All right. Let's shut it down. We got two overseas fellas who are tired as hell. All right.
You are the overseas people.
Well, I mean,
We're
perspective.
local, Totti.
Perspective, Totti. Anyway, listeners, you guys are amazing. Everybody in chat, thank you guys so much for keeping things lively and making things fun in here. Join us on a live stream Wednesdays, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. But aside from that, enjoy your week. Let us know if you have any questions. Hop on the Discord. Get in there. And if you have game day questions, let us know. You can get those answered from very knowledgeable folks on the Discord. You just have to do it. You just have to do it. But aside from that, yep.
Joe, is there any chance that we can put the Discord join link in the chat or in the description or whatever?
You talking about just the one to get into the draft,
the
draft community?
Into the server.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Those usually expire though, from what I understand. Like the invites.
You expire.
Probably, but I thought what you should have done was plug the FCA vote.
Well,
yes, you should have done that, Joe.
All right. Okay, can we do that next time, or is that not really?
We have to. Yeah, we have to.
Okay. All right. We'll do that next time.
Maybe do it now.
Yeah.
If you head over to Twitter,
At the low point of the pod, yes.
If you head over to Twitter, check out the Draft Society's Twitter handle, and posted on there, pinned, I believe, is the fact that we have been nominated once again for the Football Content Awards, which is really great and super humbling. And we would really appreciate if anybody would be willing to vote for us for the fantasy football category. That'd be amazing. Check it out. Vote for us. That'd be awesome. It would be a true underdog story. We're up against like FPL accounts that have, 1 million followers. So just let's try. Let's make it happen. Who knows?
Get your bots. Talk to your boy in Macedonia.
Oh my God.
Let's make it happen.
Yes.
If we win and it's at Spurs Stadium, Ryan, would you be able to live with yourself?
It'd be the only silverware around.
Very nice, Ryan.
Yeah, that's like my second home.
All right. With that, we'll wrap it up. Everyone, good luck this week. Again, join the Discord. If you have questions, if you need help, let us know on there. We'll certainly weigh in on anything, any conundrums you have. All right. Cheers, everyone. We'll talk to everyone soon.